Hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing your piece. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was very different and fun, and it gave me a lot of helpful information. So thank you. I'll start by going through your author's agenda, and then I will go through some areas that I highlighted that I felt were strong for me as a reader, and then just a couple of areas that I wanted to leave you with some questions. Um, so, in your author's agenda, your two main focuses were the overall metaphor of cooking. Was it effective? Did it make sense? Was it helpful? Um, and then any feedback on your endnotes. So, I wanted to start by saying overall, I felt that the metaphor and the strategy of turning this how to piece into a recipe was very clever. I know that when I teach how-to pieces. A lot of my students go to recipes. So I felt like this was a cool connection between what I see a lot of my kids do to this specific type of how-to piece that is directed towards teachers. I thought it was a fun take on it. I did feel like it was effective because it kept me engaged, it kept me reading, and I found myself smiling a lot through it because I thought it was fun. Um, so overall, I did think that it was effective and it did make sense to structure a how to text this way. So as I was reading your piece, I noticed a lot of those metaphors throughout. The first sentence that really stuck with me was at the end of this paragraph where you say, after all, isn't the goal for them to become strong, independent writers? I like that you brought my attention back to here's your end game. Okay, so you're adding in these things into your recipe to make these writers. That's what this is all for. And I thought it was a nice bring back to the point of the how to piece, that you included it right in the middle. So I really liked that. And then also, as I read, like I mentioned earlier, I saw and I noticed those metaphors throughout a cup of mentor text, a sprinkle of replication, blend in positive environment. I thought those were also great. But the one metaphor that really stuck with me was the one where you said, serve their writing on a silver platter to peers. In my mind, when I was reading, I thought of, a silver platter, what they normally have on there. And it's beautiful, it's expensive, it's sought after. Um, and I like that you compared students writing to that, saying that it should be that way. As a teacher, we need to show off our kids' writing as it being sought after and beautiful and amazing and deserving of being on a silver platter. And I thought that was important. That was important to me as a teacher. And it really went well with that classroom environment aspect you were talking about throughout the paragraph. And then the last sentence where you said, making a connection is like cooking a meal. I like that you brought it back and you made that, you gave me that simile and you said, it's just like this. Allow your students to combine what they have connected to. So all the students may have connected to something different. And just like in cooking, people add their own spices, they add their own things. Students are going to add their own type of writing and their own type of craft into it. And they're all going to be a little bit different and new. And I thought it was a great way to end your piece with that metaphor and showing how people are going to make those different connections and everything is going to be a little bit different. So I really did enjoy that. And you wanted some feedback on your endnotes. When I looked through your endnotes, I did notice that um, you included some self-reflection or some like self connections. Like here you said, continued exposure to these texts will allow your students to see the same writing techniques and tools used in a different way by different authors. So I like that you not only gave me some information from a of text or an article, but you also gave me your opinion on it and your reasoning, and it kind of helps me understand why you put that where you put that. I personally, as a reader, enjoyed understanding your thinking as a writer. And I noticed that you did that a lot through here. So I thought that they were used well, and I thought that they were placed well throughout your text, or I'm sorry, your piece. um, and then as I was reading, you also wanted some feedback on the effectiveness of your strategy. And overall, I thought it was great. But I wonder if um, up here you said, let's make a connection. Making connections is everything you do in writing. Without connections, how will your students learn what good writing is? And I wonder if we could incorporate that word connection into each paragraph. Just like how you incorporated cooking into each paragraph, I wonder if there's a way we can continue to use that word connection so that way it doesn't get lost up in the first paragraph. Um, and then as we go through, I noticed that in this third paragraph, there were a couple of verbs in here. And I noticed that we were using those verbs, especially like those words blend and sprinkle. I wonder if we could go back through and see if those are the strongest verbs we could have found, or if there's a simile that we could use that wouldn't lose its meaning, but would keep that reader engaged without it being overly repetitive. So I wonder if there's a way that we could do that. Um, Overall, I truly enjoyed this piece. I thought it was a fun take on a typical like how-to piece. And I thought it was a great metaphor. So thank you for sharing. I got a lot of good information and good tips that I can take out of this as a reader.